School children and violence in America. It's come to this today, searching elementary school kids for deadly weapons. President Clinton brings aid and comfort to the tornado-devastated Deep South. And 50 years of the CBS Evening News. Tonight, a president resigns in disgrace. And Charles Kuralt on the roads less traveled.
117. This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. Our lead story tonight is about violence and children, because more and more American children are becoming not only the victims of crime, but perpetrators of it, and younger than ever. After a string of deadly shootings around the country, public schools in the city of Indianapolis today took the unprecedented step of searching their youngest students for weapons. We have two reports on children and crime, beginning with CBS's Diana Olick.
Before the bell rang at this Indianapolis elementary school today, the metal detectors went off.
Stand like an angel. We'll go down your back now, okay?
Today, they searched 7-year-olds for guns and became the first district in the nation to implement regular weapons checks on an entire elementary school system.
I thought it was really good because most kids have guns and shoot other kids just because they don't like them.
That fear turned to reality this year, and Superintendent Pat Pritchett saw no choice but the searches.
This year, we've had 3 elementary students bring loaded handguns to school in 3 separate schools, and we said that's enough.
One of the guns was brought by a first grader. Now every first grader could be a potential threat.
At first I was nervous, but after they did it, I wasn't that scared anymore. It makes me feel more safe.
Indianapolis has been using metal detectors in its middle and high schools for 7 years. But are they really working? Already this year, more kids have brought weapons to school than in all of last year.
The days of Aunt Bee and Opie are gone.
Kimberly Walston calls it bittersweet. She doesn't want her 8- and 10-year-olds searched at school, but she knows the guns are out there.
We don't want to make our schools feel like it's a military base where at any moment something could happen. We want them to keep their minds on school and achieving and doing their best.
I'm just going to check inside there real quick.
The kids will be searched on random days, never knowing when or at which school.
You're done.
Just standing ready for their new rite of passage.
You have a good day, all right? Thank you.
Diana Olick, CBS News, Indianapolis.
Not only are young children getting their hands on dangerous weapons in increasing numbers, but more and more of them are committing violent crimes. CBS's Bob McNamara reports on the latest case at point that has America asking what is happening to our children.
It could have been any block in any neighborhood in the nation. But this time, it is the city of Dallas discovering tragic evidence that our children have changed. Last week, police here found a dazed 3-year-old girl trying to find her way back home. She was naked and bleeding, the victim of a brutal assault. The 3 boys accused of attacking her are 7, 8, and 11 years old.
It's the most serious crime I've seen committed by a child this young.
Mike Griffiths has worked in Texas juvenile justice for 20 years, a time when the number of homicides committed by juveniles nationally has tripled, from fewer than 1,000 in 1985 to over 3,000 in 1995. Nationally, juveniles now account for 20% of all offenders arrested for serious crimes.
Typically, it was a 15 or 16-year-old. Now we're seeing younger children get involved in aggravated related offenses.
His hunch is reflected in the headlines. From Paducah, Kentucky to Jonesboro, Arkansas, where children have been killing children. And the justice system is struggling to make room for criminals who are both very young and very violent. The question that haunts the country is why. Tonight, there is only one chilling certainty. In the stream of violent crimes committed by children, this is just the latest, not the last. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Dallas.
The aftermath of violent, deadly weather brought President Clinton to Alabama today. The president offered condolences and federal disaster help to people who were in the path of last week's monster tornadoes around Birmingham. CBS News White House correspondent Scott Pelley traveled with the president.
Outside Birmingham, the president heard stories of terror and survival. One man described holding his children as his roof ripped away. Another apologized that he had to hurry off to his wife's funeral.
It's horrible. There's so much grief and frustration and loss that the most positive thing that can be done is just to get everybody focused on tomorrow.
It's a wonder that the people the president met are here at all. The Weather Service describes a Force 5 tornado as unsurvivable. Look at the power. The trees aren't broken, they're shredded. The official definition of a Force 5 ends with this warning: incredible phenomenon will occur.
Phenomenon like the survival of 6 children in Henry Hinkle's house.
Not much left. No. Just, I guess, mostly memory things, such as pictures and things of that nature.
7 days after that horrible night, Mr. Clinton said the nation is still moved by the profound grief here. He said it will take years to heal, but the process has already begun. Scott Pelley, CBS News, with the president in Birmingham.
Still to come on the CBS Evening News, men and women and changing roles in the home. How the big tobacco deal could affect your 401k plan. New research on the accuracy of breast cancer screening. And on the CBS Evening News' 50th anniversary, the 1970s, Watergate and Charles Kuralt.
We have seen many a beautiful sight in this New England fall. The reflections of red leaves in still water, a waterfall.
It's hard to tell the difference between Buick Century and many of today's expensive luxury cars. Look closer and you'll find a rather distinguishing feature. A Consumer's Digest Best Buy. Century by Buick, well equipped for under $20,000. And now it's a Best Buy that's even easier to buy with 1.9 APR GMAC financing or special leases.
If you think you can't afford one of the world's most powerful custom-built computers, we invite you to take a closer look. Here's a big-time multimedia system for only $24.99 from Gateway. It's got DVD, a 17-inch monitor, a 333 MHz Intel Pentium 2 processor, and lots more. Call us at 1-800-GATEWAY and we'll build a powerful computer just for you.
Ask my family which Italian dishes are their favorites. They'd all agree. The Olive Garden's tour of Italy is 3 of the best. Lasagna, chicken parmesan, and fettuccine alfredo. With all the salad and breadsticks you want, just $9.95. The Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
I lead a hectic life. Sometimes I get irregular. So I take something I can trust. Correctol. Now even more women trust Correctol to work gently overnight. Like clockwork.
There is an update tonight on that freight train with a hazardous load and no place to go. The train with 12,000 gallons of incendiary napalm from the Vietnam War era was bound from California to Indiana for recycling. It got sidetracked when the disposal plant said no. So where's the napalm tanker car now? It's said to be in storage overnight in a secret location somewhere in the Midwest. Earlier we reported on America's disturbing trend of more young children with guns. Also today, there's signs of changing times for America's grown-ups, the workforce. CBS's Wyatt Andrews reports on a nationwide study of changing roles for men and women on the job and in the home.
On a sun-splashed afternoon in the middle of the work week, Nick and Vince Estrada are at the National Zoo spending the day not with Mom, they're with Dad. Where's Mom today?
Actually, she's working.
And that's not unusual. At the end of his school day, young Braxton Bridgers gets carried away by his dad. Do you think you spend more time with your boys than your dad did with you?
Without a doubt, I do. I think it's benefited them.
For all the talk of absentee fathers these days, the news in today's study may surprise you. The Families and Work Institute of New York documents that over the last 20 years, while Mom still spends the most time with the kids, Dad time has increased 30 minutes every day.
There's just a generational change where men don't want to be stick figure for their children. They want to be involved in the lives of their children.
That's certainly true for Tony Patterson.
Don't always get enough time to spend with the kids, but
every opportunity I do get, I try and make good use of it.
For years, working women have complained that while they held full-time jobs just like their husbands, they still came home to most of the household chores and the child raising. This study suggests that domestic inequality is changing.
I do a lot of the washing, I do the dishes every night.
According to the study, most men are spending more time doing the wash. But still, there's a frustration. Most working parents in the study say they need more time with the children. Dad might be home more, but Mom and Dad say it's not enough. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Washington.
The first major study is out tonight of just how often breast cancer screenings result in false alarms for cancer. It found that women who get annual mammograms for 10 years have almost a 50-50 chance of at least one false positive. The risk is even higher for women in their 40s. Still, most experts emphasize the benefits of breast cancer screening far outweigh the risk of false alarm.
Oh, farmers around here have been bringing us their harvest for 45 years. Then, one day, Farm Co-op brought me something different. News. That soybeans like ours could be used for a new kind of cooking oil. It seems at Crisco they came up with a way to fry snack chips without adding any fat or calories. They figured without all the fat of regular chips, this olein could help a whole lot of folks eat a little healthier. I don't know about all that, but I do know that doing good starts right in your own backyard.
Coming soon from the makers of Crisco, new fat-free Olean, a good place to start. With the fresh taste of homemade, Hellmann's salad dressing takes any salad and makes it your best. And that brings out the best in everything.
This is a flat tire, and so is this. Goodyear AquaSteel Run Flat. Even with no air pressure, you can drive up to 50 miles to safety. New AquaSteel Run Flat, only from Goodyear.
Killer products, dangerous, recalled by the manufacturers, but some are still on shelves and in homes. We'll tell you which ones, plus your latest weather.
That's tomorrow.
On This Morning.
In CBS's Worldwide Market Watch, there's news of the explosive growth of the Internet. A government report says traffic on the Internet is doubling every 100 days. And the information technology industry is growing twice as fast as the overall U.S. economy. The merger of the day, Pennzoil and Quaker State, along with their Jiffy Lube and Q-Lube oil chain centers. The Wall Street engine is running smoothly. The Dow gained 52 points to close at yet another all-time high. As for the financial health of cigarette companies, industry executives now insist their pullout from the big tobacco settlement deal will help protect millions of Americans in their retirement years, whether they smoke or not. How could this possibly be? What are they talking about? CBS's Jim Stewart looked into it for you.
Last week, Big Tobacco walked away from a comprehensive settlement, saying the price was too high. This week, it's threatening to do even more. Sweeten up this deal for us, they're now saying, or we'll go out of business.
This approach will, in fact, bankrupt these companies.
Wall Street is already anxious. Cigarette stocks barely moved today while the rest of the market climbed. And with more than 2.5 billion shares of Philip Morris alone on the market, much of it salted away in thousands of company pension plans and 401k accounts, individual stockholders should pay attention as well, say analysts.
You'll find it in virtually every portfolio, along with a smattering of other tobacco companies. So in that sense, you do have a stake in this settlement deal and how the companies turn out financially.
There's plenty of precedent for controversial companies to go belly up rather than face the music. Silicone breast implant makers did it. So did the asbestos industry. And all ceased or seriously restricted making their products as a result of settlements. Cigarette makers say they've been forced to consider the same thing because the $516 billion price tag of the current congressional tobacco bill is $150 billion more than they can pay. Bankruptcy, however, could lead to more problems instead of fewer. Philip Morris, for example, is not just cigarettes. Its craft foods and beer divisions are also highly profitable, while the other half of R.J. Reynolds is Nabisco. Creditors would likely go after assets in all the divisions. No one, in fact, would get all they want if the tobacco companies go through with their threat. Creditors would get pennies on the dollar, the government wouldn't get that big settlement check it's looking for, and stockholders would get the least of all, because shareholders, you see, are the last in line to be repaid in the event of bankruptcy. All they would get is an empty bag. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
Coming up next, our special series, 50 Years of the CBS Evening News.
Today is March 23rd, or August 12th, or December 4th. It does not matter what today is. While others dwell on the events of one today, our mutual funds stick to long-term strategies that seek performance through discipline. Strategies that understand one today does not a retirement make. We do not live for the day. We are in it for much longer than that. AIM. Invest with discipline.
Sun is rising. See it shine, shine. Looks like a great day.
It's a great day for the comfort and convenience of changing tint Transitions lenses. Indoors, they lighten. Outdoors, they darken. So lightweight plastic Transitions lenses are right in any light. Make the change to Transitions lenses and see for yourself.
It's a great day.
Transitions lenses, right in any light and right for you.
Where will you be 4 hours from now? Reaching out or in? What will you be out doing when your pain reliever stops working and your arthritis pain comes back? Only Aleve can stop your arthritis pain all day long with just 2 pills. No other pain reliever can do that. So with Aleve, no matter where you happen to be, you can be pain-free all day long. Aleve. Real relief is all-day relief.
More chocolate shakes, onion rings, and a burger with pickles and onions.
You're not going to eat that.
Come on, it's a celebration. Hey,
that would give me such indigestion.
Not if you took a Pepsid AC first.
You take Pepsid AC?
How else could I eat here? Just one, and I don't even get heartburn.
So no more Tums for you, huh?
Hey, Mom, want an onion ring?
Before or after, you can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
She was only 14. He was her teacher.
Want me to talk dirty to you?
He had me convinced I wasn't a child.
Did he betray a sacred trust? 48 Hours, Thursday.
This is the golden anniversary of the CBS Evening News. So all this week, the CBS documentary unit is looking back at the history the Evening News has chronicled. Tonight, the 1970s, tumultuous times in the White House and changing times in our own house.
5 people have been arrested and charged with breaking into the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee.
For the re-election of the president, have any responsibility for it?
To conceal the involvement of others in Watergate.
How high up in the White House does it go?
Get early.
President Nixon literally had his back to the wall and was fighting for his survival as president because the facts were closing in on him. It was no longer a case of guesswork.
I welcome this kind of examination because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
And in terms of a story, as a reporter working it, this much you knew. One false step and your career is blown to smithereens.
The President of the United States.
As the proverbial noose began to tighten around President Nixon and his presidency, he and his aides set up this pep rally scene in Houston, which happened to be my hometown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dan Rather with CBS News. President, are you running for something? No, sir, Mr. President, are you? Mr. President.
Then the criticism started pouring down on us from affiliated stations and others that this was disrespectful, rather to have spoken to the President of the United States in that fashion. I never believed it was disrespectful at all. I thought it was a perfectly reasonable retort.
If the facts had turned out to be otherwise, then I'd probably be selling real estate. I understand that.
At first it was called the Watergate Caper. We did 2 major stories. One of them, one of the longest pieces, I think the second longest piece we ever did on the evening news. The episode grew steadily more sinister. Tonight, with the help of Dan Rather and Daniel Shore, our second detailed report on the Watergate case examines the finances. And Kay Graham, publisher of the Washington Post, said later that we probably saved the day. She felt that if it hadn't been for the CBS resurrection of the story, they might not have been able to carry on.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
When I went to Washington, there were 3 women I can think of. Connie Chung, Mariah McLaughlin, Leslie Stahl. There was 1 black person other than me, Hal Walker. That was it. Producers, none. Associate producers, none. That was the face of the business then. There was a murderer's row in the Washington Bureau, much like the murderer's row of the 1927 New York Yankees. You had Dan Rather, Marvin Cow, you had Daniel Shore, Roger Mudd.
Roger Mudd, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And they were as important in America in those days, Cronkite's Horsemen, as any movie star. They were larger than life, they were gigantic, and in my eyes, I was completely wowed. And if you had any thoughts that you had hit the big time, you were reduced immediately.
Mr. Gonzalez, how were you treated in jail?
I wasn't even on the same floor with these guys. I was the low man on the totem pole.
What happened when you went upstairs? What was the conversation about on the steps?
Excuse me. I offered to return the trash, and Secretary Kissinger's bodyguard told me that I should replace it where I found it.
Every morning I got an assignment that would be usually, Ed, go look at the White House, or Ed, go look at the Senate. And one day I just got tired of it, and I said to Bill Galbraith, who was running the desk, Bill, what do you want me to do? You want me to stand out there and look at the building? You want me to look at a particular senator? Am I looking for a particular piece of legislation? What is it that you want? Go look at the Senate. Surely there's nothing productive that's going to come from me looking at the Senate. After a couple of days of me giving Galbraith that every time he would want me to go cover for someone else, he'd look around and he'd see, Leslie.
And that it will take at least 3 more years to prove its value in treating humans. Leslie Stahl, CBS News, National Institutes of Health, Bethesda, Maryland.
The first time I got on the air, the Washington newsroom gave me a standing ovation. Now that's how big it was to get on the evening news for your first time.
That was one of the things that made us good. I wanted to have the best story of the day on the CBS Evening News. And I got up early, stayed late, made a lot of phone calls, wore a lot of shoe leather, trying to get it on the CBS Evening News.
The president, who has always prided himself on self-discipline while at the center of power, wept at times today as he gave it up.
Always remember, others may hate you, but those who hate you don't win unless you hate them. And then you destroy yourself.
There's the president waving goodbye. You hear the applause.
I will go to my grave believing that if even in the final days before he had resigned and got up and said, I did wrong, and I ask you, the American people, for forgiveness, and I'd like to get on with the business of being president, I think he would have finished out his second term. But he didn't do that, and the facts overwhelmed him.
What they're practicing for is not just a game. The World Series is an event in search of a hero.
When I came to CBS News in 1962, Charles Kuralt was already a much-traveled, very experienced CBS News correspondent, called by some of the older correspondents the Kid. And the word on the kid was the kid could write.
The television set back then.
Could he ever write?
The interesting thing, perhaps, about Charles Kuralt's On the Road features was I resisted putting them on the air.
We have seen many a beautiful sight in this New England fall. The reflections of red leaves in still water.
The very first one both confirmed my feeling and destroyed it.
Leaves against the blue sky.
He did Fall in Vermont. But when I heard the title of it, I said, oh, that's just what I was afraid of.
But the best sight we've seen was beside the road at Madison, New Hampshire. It had nothing to do with the foliage industry or the tourist dollar. It had to do with youth and hilarity.
I saw the piece in the cutting room, and it was just pure gold.
They're not just to look at. They're to roll in and to laugh about and to cushion your leap from an oak limb.
We said to ourselves and said to one another, that's what Charles Kuralt was put on this journalism earth to do.
Rainbows in, I can see the road is bending. Wonder what's around the bend.
What do I want? I want to know I'm headed in the right direction. I want to keep my options open. I do want to take care of my family. I want to give something back. I want to learn, find what's right for me, be ready for anything, make the right choices. I want to find the people who can get me there.
American Express Financial Advisors can help you decide what you want to do and how to get there.
I want to say I made a difference. I want to do more.
Next time, call a Roto-Rooter plumber. When we make an appointment, we keep it.
Here's to the weekend warrior in all of us, pushing our bodies beyond the norm. Mercifully, there's an advanced medicine called Advil. When the pain sets in, and it will, Advil works fast, right at the site of muscle pain, stopping it where it starts. Muscle aches to headaches, Advil relieves all kinds of pain. Advil simply lets people do what they love to do.
I got a letter back from Quaker.
You wrote to Quaker?
Told them Quaker toasted oatmeal ought to be called Quaker tasty oatmeal.
It's oatmeal, it's toasted. To me, that says tasty.
Well, then they should call it that.
Quaker toasted oatmeal. Crisp oatmeal flakes with honey-sweetened oat clusters.
Well, they thanked me for my interest, but said product will remain Quaker toasted oatmeal.
What a shock.
Quaker tasty, toasted oatmeal. Your other oatmeal.
And now, Quaker Honey Nut Toasted Oatmeal has 20% more almonds.
Ooh, yum.
I didn't know hearing aids had gotten this tiny. Beltone's Invisa hides inside my ear.
He hears great, and he's as good looking as ever.
Visit Beltone for your free hearing test and see Invisa. It's as small around as a soft contact lens.
Tomorrow night, as we look at history and 50 years of the CBS Evening News, the focus will be the 1980s, when a one-time actor was cast in the role of a lifetime, and a notorious symbol of communist oppression came tumbling down. That's part of our world tonight. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Good night.